Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I have an update for my Pan That palette. I am working on an eyeshadow palette and a face palette this year. And Pan That palette was originally created by Amber F, so I will have her linked down below. Every year, the Pantastic Ladies have a theme, and this year the theme is Old Faithful. It was created by Lee Golder, and it's basically a palette that's been with you forever. It's always been by your side. You still love it. But you enjoy it still and you want to get good use out of it. So my palette for that theme is my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry. I actually was already planning on working on this year, but it just fit the theme so perfectly. I have had this since 2017. I wore it on my wedding day. It's just a very special palette to me, and I really enjoy most of the shades in here. Not all of them, but most of them. And then for my Pan That Face palette, I am working on my Hourglass Jellyfish palette. So we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I want to start with my eyeshadow palette. First, if you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave. I mostly do panning content on this channel. I'm actively working through the stuff I already have. I am on my second no buy in a row, so if that sounds good to you, stick around and of course give this video a thumbs up. So I started working on this palette in January. I will put up a picture of what it looked like when I rolled it in. I already had 7 pans in it, so I was well on my way to hitting pan in every single shade. That is my main goal for this year, to hit pan in all the shades. And honestly, I think I said, like in the beginning, if I finish something, that would be amazing. But I know I'm not going to finish anything because every month I get a little more sick and tired of this palette. This is my first year doing Pan That palette, so I didn't really know how I would handle it or like it. But hopefully I have been putting up like monthly updates on the screen as I've been talking. And the last update, I don't think I hit any new pans, and it was, I mean, kind of boring update for me, but I did have some usage. But this update, I'm very happy to say that I have a new pan in Steampunk here, so the gold shimmer. And now I just have Bloom left to use, and I do have Bloom all over my lids today underneath a shimmer. I really try to use a ton of product when I use this shade, but it's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite shadow in this palette, which is so surprising. I used to love the pink in this palette, so that just shows like my preferences have changed a lot. I think this is probably my second least favorite shade, but Bloom is taking forever, and I have gotten feedback from other people that it took forever for them too. I also have Pearl on my inner corner today. This shade here, I've just used that one time this month. And let me get my numbers for Steampunk and Bloom. So Steampunk I've only used twice and I hit pan. I knew I was really close, but yeah, I didn't know I was that close. I only had to use it 2 more times. And then Bloom today is my 4th use in the month. So you can see I've definitely slowed down in this palette, and I haven't used any of the other shades at all this month except for Pearl in my inner corner today. So yeah, honestly, I don't think I will use the rest of the shadows in here going forward. I will just focus on Bloom. I'm sorry if that's boring to you, but I have so many other eyeshadows that I need to use, and I'm really just not passionate about Pan That palette anymore, right now at least. I think it's this palette specifically. I thought that the neutrals and, you know, the nice diversity and the shimmers and the mattes would be really ideal for my first year of Pan That palette, but I'm just wanting to gravitate towards other things, and I kind of dread using this every month, especially now that I just have the pink left. So yeah, it's a little disheartening for me. I love this palette, but I guess I don't like being forced to use it. So now let's talk about my Hourglass Jellyfish palette. Oh, I forgot to do the math. Okay. I'm wearing it today. If you were curious, I have all of the products on my face, and if you're not familiar with what this looks like, I will have a picture of it on the screen, what it looked like in the beginning of the year in January, and these are baked products, so the visual progress hasn't really been there. It's just taking a while, but I do feel like I finally have some progress. I have some air bubbles like showing up. You know, as you move down products, you know, you kind of find little pockets of air that may have been trapped, especially in like baked or densely packed items. But the last month I had 30 uses total. I was a little behind on my like projection. I forgot to tell you. I just want to use every shade 100 times. I'm not trying to finish this palette. I'm not trying to hit pan. But I mean, if I hit pan within 100 uses, that would be amazing, but I'm not expecting that. And I figured to meet my 100 use goal by the end of the year, I have to use this palette like each shade 8 times in a month. Some months I have to use it 9 times, and some months I can just use it 8. I've only managed to hit my 8 use goal in March, and then April I used it 9 times, so I did one more than I needed to. No, I have to use it 9 times for some months. Okay. And this month I've only used it 7 times. So I have a total of 37 uses, but this is what it's looking like now. So obviously this bronzer is scraped up. I shared last month that I did Franken a bronzer, so I will show you that in a second. But hopefully you can see in like the powders and even like the blushes, I'm finding some air pockets and just things that are looking a little different. I'll tilt it this way. You can definitely see this highlighter is getting, let's see here, oh gosh. The highlighter is getting pretty flat. Wow, this is hard. Hello. I'm focusing on the tilt. Hopefully you saw what you needed to see from that. And then here's my Franken. So I will actually swatch this because this is too warm and just not my best shade. And so last update I did Franken it, and I Franken it again. So I dry pressed this Franken last update, and it's just been crumbling. Every time I dipped into it, more product would loosen up. I will have a picture of it, what it looked like before I re-Frankened it, because I actually used alcohol the second time and pressed it that way, and so far it is sticking together. But I also added some green and blue eyeshadow and some loose powder to make it even more cool toned. And now it's gray. I put too much in. I put way too much blue. Why are you not focusing here? My camera is not cooperating, but this is the new Franken, and I'm really happy with the fact that it hasn't fallen apart yet. And I am wearing this today like as my contour, and it's the only like powder contour I have on, like, that's a little bold right there, but on my nose, on my forehead, on like my cheekbones. I do feel like this shade works for me, but it's very, very pigmented. So if I use too much, I get to the point where it's like I'm looking a little gray. But here's the difference. It's just kind of crazy how you can transform a product and make it work for you just by adding some other shades to it. I don't have like a swatch of the Franken before, but I think I do have a picture, so I'll put that up right now. And then I'll have this on the screen as well just to see like the difference. But I am really happy with how this turned out, and I think I'll use it a little more. Well, no, because I just use all if I didn't say before, I use every single shade in this when I use it. That's how I can just say I've used it 8 times or I've used it 7 times or whatever. I mix the blushes, so that's what's on my cheek. And then of course the highlighter, and then the powders I just kind of put everywhere. I just kind of mix them. And that's how I've been using this. So I'm pretty happy with the visual progress. Finally, hopefully I will have more next update. But that is what my 2 Pan That palettes are looking like. I say this every time, but I don't know who created Pan That Face palette. And if you do, please let me know down below so I can credit them. But I will have Amber F, the creator of Pan That eyeshadow palette, down below, of course, and the Fantastic Ladies. So if you are not subscribed, I hope you subscribe before you leave, so I see you all in my next one. Bye.